Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Expert, the show where we discuss the latest cryptocurrency news and introduce you to the pioneers and the founders of the space. Today, I'm very kindly joined by co-founder and CEO of Alkimi Exchange, Ben. Ben, thanks for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to telling you all about Alkimi and what we're doing in the Web3 space.
Amazing. And we actually met in person for the first time at Zebu last week. Zebu was an amazing couple of days. You were also talking there, Ben. How was your time at Zebu?
I think it's good. There's at least we're based in London. The events in London are sadly few and far between, and Zebu is definitely one of the best ones, if not the best one. So it's great to meet a lot of the people that you speak to on Twitter and Telegram in person, and meet a whole bunch of new people as well. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Although probably here I got a bit of a cold, but I think it was worth it.
Yeah, I think you called it just while we were off air. You called it a conference cold.
Yeah, exactly right.
Always the way when all of these people from all around the world are coming together to meet in London for an event. It's always going to happen. But yeah, we could talk about the crypto scene in the UK for hours. I think for me, one take is we see a lot of entrepreneurs and innovation going abroad now, but it's good to see at least people coming back to the UK putting on for a good event. But let's get straight into this Ben. I just wanted to update everyone on the current price of Bitcoin. We almost went up to 69,000 earlier today, just below 68,000. Ethereum is lagging slightly behind 2,600. BNB not much movement there, struggling with the $600 resistance, and Solana still over 150. Some good movement there, guys. I hope you have caught the caught the pumps. I myself, I was actually on the sidelines while this was going. But Ben, have you been keeping an eye on the market? What do you take of the current movements recently?
I think it's a good question. I think I take a macro view of like everyone was away on holiday over the summer, and I think even during that time you saw some pretty record inflows into the ETFs, which I think shows there is wider interest in blockchain as an asset class than there ever has been, which is exciting given that we are fully down the rabbit hole. I always like to think, I hope this isn't like a bull market and than we've had before. I've kind of been talking about this as like the adoption cycle, where it goes from being a fringe asset class at 2 trillion to something that's competing with the much bigger, more well-established asset classes. Now there is some proper ways for which accredited investors in the US can get exposure to Bitcoin. And now that the salespeople at funds and asset managers are back in the office and Christmas is coming and I'm sure they want their bonuses, you could hope that this is going to be on a few more prospectus sheets than it perhaps has been in the past.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. It's we were talking in our Discord, the CSC Plus Discord. People were saying, is this mirroring, what Q4 of 2020 was like just before the absolute super cycle that was 2021, and it's hard to tell right now. But I think if you go off seasonal trends like you mentioned there, people are away, even in traditional markets. People take time off, they go away, their focus isn't there. Perhaps their children are home from school, and then you see it start to pick up. They probably go, "Oh God, we need some Christmas money for the holiday." People are
right. Without getting ahead of ourselves, we deal with brands that want to advertise. And Q4 is a big quarter for brands that want to advertise for people because of Christmas, right? So it's something that we've always seen is a lot of seasonality in ad campaigns. And I think that probably rings true across various sectors. And I think certainly the financial services is definitely one of those.
For sure. But let's get into this, Ben. If we could have a bit of back before we get into Alkimi and ADS and all of the cool innovation there, let me ask a little bit more about your background and your experience, your journey into Web3. How did it all come around?
So it's actually one of the co-founders at Alkimi, a guy called Adam Chorley. I used to sell software for many years to major publishers, and Chorley worked at Condé Nast. So I used to take him out to try and convince him to use our software, and we figured out we were better friends. We both supported Arsenal, and
unlucky.
Really he started. Yeah, well, unlucky for some. Well, yeah, it is unlucky. he was telling me about crypto. And around about that time, there's a bureau called the Internet Advertising Bureau, who basically defined the standards for ads online, had written a paper on the application of a blockchain to the ways that ads are bought and sold in real time, had come to the conclusion that it perhaps wasn't quick enough or could work. We didn't necessarily agree with that. So that's kind of what got us into crypto. And then we just used to spend a lot of time in Telegram, in Discord, on Twitter, we were successful traders in 2020, which I think everyone was, because everything went up. But yeah, that's kind of really what got me into it. And just by education, I'm a product designer by education. So I had always liked to understand how things worked. And I think that there's so much information on like how crypto works out there, if you look in the right places, that it just became quite compelling and a bit of an itch that we needed to scratch. So yeah, that's kind of what dragged me down there, was a novel solution to existing problems, which should get anyone excited, really.
Nice. So you're definitely a Web3 OG, a Web3 native. You put those hours in, grinding Telegram, all of that. So how did the idea first come about? How was Alkimi forged?
So I used to work at ad exchanges, and some of you probably won't know what that is, but really it's a marketplace for buying and selling ads in real time online. So a bit like, I would describe it a bit like eBay. So like, you see something you like, you bid on it. If you're the highest bid, you win that item. That's pretty much how ads are bought and sold online. So I worked for an exchange. I used to sell software to some of the largest publications in the world. So Condé Nast, CNN, Daily Mail, to use our software to monetize their websites better. In doing that, I saw became familiar with a lot of the challenges that face that space. So they are around really a complete lack of transparency. So you have no idea who bought or sold your ad, the fees that were taken, how you can optimize that. And really then the fees themselves are very high. So on average, 43% of your dollar is lost. If you're, let's say, Nike, and you want to buy an ad on CNN as an example, 43% of your dollar is lost as Nike to middlemen. Which means that you have to see more ads online because publishers are trying to monetize their websites better. If you're a brand, you can't actually get value for the money that you're spending online. So your ad campaigns perform worse. And just really the whole marketplace is like, for what is $600 billion market this year, will be $1 trillion by 2028. Very, very inefficient in terms of the capital expenditure that goes on. Like, you don't get much bang for your buck. And now, if you think about a blockchain, it is the antithesis of those problems, really. It's every single transaction is recorded on chain. You can see exactly what goes on chain, who's sending tokens where, which NFTs are in which wallet, who's trading stuff where, and how it's traded. That solves the issue of transparency in ad tech, just like overnight. And then where you're able to use a distributed network of validators who are providing some value to the network in exchange for fees that are generated from the network, you can distribute the cost of the infrastructure. So you can incentivize people that perhaps had no reason to get excited about monetization online to get excited about it, because they get to share a portion of that $600 billion market this year, $1 trillion market in 2028, which they wouldn't do before unless they had created an ad tech company or ran a really big website or were an enormous brand, so it like democratizes the access to a huge intangible real world asset, if you want to think about it that way.
Amazing. And you mentioned there, some of the reasons why Alkimi came about. But what sets Alkimi apart? What are some of the, some of the visions of Alkimi in the advertising technology space that sets you apart from your competitors, or perhaps people that were, attempting this before?
So I think, to take that back a few steps, I think a lot of people, I can say for certain that everyone tuned in has been on the internet, and therefore they've been exposed to an ad online and probably have been annoyed by it. Like, some ads online are annoying. There's too many of them. They pop up when you don't want them. People ask you if you want to accept cookies or not. It's frustrating. But I think what people underestimate is that an ad-funded internet is a free internet, which anyone can access at any time. That is how websites make their money to continue to post content online. I think what we're seeing is walled gardens controlling the type of content you can see and how you see it. You're seeing just generally the ability for the internet to be funded by ads come into risk. Like there's walled gardens now, like you never really saw so many of the walled gardens. Paywalls, you know, like you go onto a website, you want to read an article and it's like, sign up for a month for £3. It's like, I don't want to do that. I'll go read it elsewhere. No. That is because of the amount of dollars that are lost in the middle. You know, like it's a really inefficient marketplace. So what Alkimi have done over the last nearly 4 years now is build our own layer 2 specifically for facilitating buying and selling ads online. Yeah. That means that we can, guarantee the future of the ad-funded internet as we become more ubiquitous, but really give anyone the chance that holds an ads token, that runs a validator, that is pooling liquidity, the chance to share in the fees that are generated by the protocol. Yeah. So we deliver 100% of protocol fees go back into token buybacks, which are then distributed to our validators or people that have provided liquidity on our balancer pool. So really allows the everyday internet user to yield farm the internet is what we say, which has a nice sustainable pool of dollars, which is brands' marketing budgets, which never go away, while simultaneously providing value to those brands. So it's like a nice... We like to think we're at the pointy end of the spear of an application of a blockchain to a real world market and being able to deliver value back to the holders of the tokens for providing value in the first place. So it's a nice way to generate yield off the internet.
You know, it's important to integrate the Web3 with the real world as well. Can you share any insights on how these real world partnerships are driving the growth of Alkimi? What is the Web2 ad tech market response to Alkimi's Web3 solution?
Yeah, so I think a lot of the time we speak to people that may not even have heard of a blockchain. So there is a bit of education to be done there. I think in general, they're just concerned about the performance. You know, I think that sometimes Web3 has a tendency to focus on this is how exactly this thing works. Like this is how we swap from here to there. This is how we add more liquidity. This is how you generate yield, and less of a focus on these people have this problem. We're solving this problem for them using a blockchain, but fundamentally just solving a challenge. So we tend to talk about the performance benefits, which are more media for your money and knowing exactly how that money's spent. That has been quite successful for us. So we generate just over $1,800 a day in fees at the moment.
I saw from the talk you did at Zebu, you put it up on the on the chart, and it was like I want to say it was like XRP. You know, you're actually generating more revenue than some of these giants like XRP. I can't remember who else was on the chart.
I think Monero, Phantom. I want to say Polkadot as well.
Amazing. And if you compare the market caps, it is absolutely crazy.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yes, for now.
It's early though, right? But yeah, I think that has meant that we've been able to work with brands like Coca-Cola, with AWS, with American Express, Cathay Pacific. We work with TikTok and Meta. We've started working with more blockchain companies like Bybit and Uphold to help them get better performance on their ad campaigns. And really our goal is to capture 1% of global ad spend. So let's say in 2028, that is $1 trillion. That is 1% of that is 10 billion. So then for our average fees on the network is around $600 million. So that's the kind of potential of what we're looking for here. And again, it's not just kind of dictated to by like crypto to crypto marketplace. This is like onboarding a market that's existed long before Web3. And giving them the chance to, basically capitalize on a new technology to deliver better results for problems that they face every day, but using a new technology to do so. And I think it's not that, I mean, when you're this, meme coins are great, right? But it's taken a lot of mind share away from the market for projects like Alkimi that are solving a problem, are generating real revenue. You know, like memes are fun, but like there's business tends to be quite boring. And I think that has been a challenge, is to like make programmatic advertising a bit sexier. We're still working on it, but yeah.
And you were discussing, you've been actively working, networking in Web3 and in the traditional markets as well. There were some big partnership announcements at Zebu. Can you touch on them slightly?
Yeah, so we are now working with Coca-Cola. We have done for a while, but are now starting to scale that relationship. So
what's it like working with the giants that are Coca-Cola?
They are very long procurement processes, is what I would
I
say.
bet.
Like, they do a really big deep dive into how technology works, the value proposition, and I think that is what makes big brands great, is that they, at least the ones that stay relevant, right? And like Coca-Cola is 138 years old.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
they stay relevant because they use the right technology at the right time, when it has a number of eyeballs, or it is capable of delivering something better than their existing tech stack. So that is something they identified. And we work with them. We work with large media agencies as well that represent those brands. So people like Publicis, which is the largest media agency in the world, they work with brands like L'Oreal, and they work with Dulux and Lego, like big brands that spend a lot of money. We work with IPG, we work with the Group M agencies as well. So like, those brands are responsible for, I don't know, hundreds of billions of dollars of ad spend, not just on digital, like they'll spend on TV and outdoor and social and search, and all the various channels. But I think it's certainly exciting that those kind of companies are looking to innovate now to solve a problem, and really use Web3 to do so, which I think as fans of Web3 is what we want, right? Is adoption. Kind of mentioned it earlier, but like, hopefully this is the cycle where you do truly start to see some adoption, because you saw it somewhat with NFTs, right? Like, some really amazing brands did NFTs, and I think that the air went out of that a little bit. Perhaps it was a little bit too early for like the actual application, because there wasn't enough wallet holders. But I showed this graph at Zebu in my presentation, but the kind of adoption of the internet's kind of like that, mobile phones is like that, and then blockchain is like that. So it's being adopted quicker than what are now some of the most ubiquitous technologies in the world. So I feel very bullish on Web3's adoption in general, because it solves great problems. Like, even just like borderless transfers, of money is great. That is a cool thing, to be able to send money to people abroad without having to pay the fees of a bank, right?
You've got some of these countries, they pay like a silly amount of their GDP is remittance payments. Exactly. And then if 10% of that is getting taxed from them, it's unfortunate for the people.
Yeah, it's just, and that's you and I could spin up a wallet now and receive any amount of money in it without anyone asking any questions. Like, now certainly KYC and AML is important, but like, the ability to be self-sovereign is also quite important. So that is great in countries where perhaps that is slightly more challenging, So I think just the fact that it solves great problems, B2C, is then good news for businesses that want to kind of tack on to that adoption of just their customers effectively.
Yeah. I wanted to touch upon the validators and the role that they play in the Alkimi ecosystem as well. How can someone become involved in the program?
So effectively, the validators provide the compute to the network to host ad auctions. So to run a validator, you need 50,000 ads tokens. That allows you to collateralize your validator and join the network. We have just over 1,200 validators on the network at the moment. That's around 61 million tokens, or 25% of the supply is currently locked up in our validator program. Once you are validating transactions, you share in the yield generated by the network. So effectively, the fees that are paid by brands like Coca-Cola that are using the network, and publishers that are selling ads. So we work with someone like the Daily Mail in the UK, right? You, as a validator for hosting that auction, are allowed to get some of those fees back in ads tokens. So by providing some value, you receive some value. And all you need to do is have 50,000 ads tokens, go to our website, labs.alkimi.org, join the waitlist, and then you can be onboarded either as a self-serve validator, so you want to run the validator yourself, or we offer a delegated service. So for people that wanted to run multiple validators, they can do so. And it only costs $25 a month, one of our validators. So it's actually quite cost effective compared to some others that are out there.
Okay.
Yeah, can be very easy to do, allows you to kind of help yield farm the internet. And yeah, as I said earlier at the top of the call, keep the internet ad funded, keep it open, free, accessible to everyone. So everyone can get information wherever they want, whenever they want.
Awesome. And perhaps people that aren't looking to become validators, but are wanting to become a part of the community, even look at holding ADS. How do the community contribute to the platform's overall success? And what are some of the benefits of this as well?
So if you don't have 50,000 ads tokens, what you can do is pool the ads that you have on Balancer. You then get an LP token, and then we've created a soft staking program. So effectively, we take snapshots of your wallet. If you have the LP token in there, we then reward you with more LP tokens, because part of the fees are split. So a percentage goes to our validators, and then a percentage that goes to those that are soft staking on the platform with the LP token. So you don't need 50,000 tokens to get involved. Yeah. We also operate an ambassador program. So anyone that wants to share content about Alkimi can do so, and there's some bounties available for that. So if you head to our Discord, some of the team will be able to help you out on what you need to do to become an ambassador. But I think we've got the number off the top of my head actually, but a great community of ambassadors that post some great content online. So that is another way for you to kind of get involved in the project.
I can see some people in the chat here. We've got some referral kings amongst our community. We've got JC who just commented as well. He's a marketing genius. So I'm sure he'll be wanting to get involved with the ambassador scheme there as well.
Yeah, please do.
And where else can people find you? Where's the best place to get in touch? You mentioned Discord there. Where can they find details for the Discord? And perhaps do you have a Telegram group, Twitter? Where's the best place?
Yeah, we do. So we have a Telegram channel, which is at Alkimi Exchange. Discord, again, at Alkimi Exchange. I'm on Twitter, which is at Benjamin Putley. I share all those links.
Yeah,
we share some great content.
in the banner below, guys. We've got Ben's Twitter and also Alkimi, guys.
Yeah, so if you haven't had enough of me, you can follow me on Twitter and I'll tell you more about advertising. But we also host a pretty regular podcast. So we've had Harry from Zebu was on the last episode that we did. We've had the guy, the global director for Mars came on. We've had James from Coca-Cola, who I did a panel with at Zebu Live. We've had just recorded an episode with the managing partner for American Express. So just really people who may not understand blockchain or may not understand programmatic advertising. That's kind of like where we talk about how those two things kind of marry together. So yeah, be sure to check out the podcast as well, which is on our YouTube channel, which again is just Alkimi Exchange.
Brilliant. And Ben, by the time we next catch up, where do you see Alkimi? What's in the pipeline for the rest of Q4?
So as I said, Q4 is a big campaign, Christmas campaigns. I hope we'll have locked down some more partnerships with big brands and really just have that daily transaction volume is 2 million, but the daily revenue, which is the important figure, is ticking up, and we're trying to take down some more of the big layer twos is really the goal there.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to it. Guys, you've got all the information. Make sure to go follow Ben and Alkimi on Twitter. Join the Discord. If you have any questions or want me to put you in touch with the team, reach out to me on CSC Plus Discord, guys. Any further questions you may have, I can see if we can get those answered for you guys as well. But like I said, make sure to join their community. Huge partnerships. Ben loves events, good speaker as well. So I'm excited for Alkimi and ADS. Big things coming, guys. Big market to disrupt. So I'm looking forward to it. Ben, thank you so much for coming on today. I look forward to having you on again soon. And yes, and also I'll hopefully see you in real life at some more events coming up soon as well.
Sounds good to me, mate. Thanks very much for having me. It's been awesome.
Brilliant. Take care, guys. Thank you for tuning in. And I will catch you tomorrow. I'm going live with Eno from International Stable Currency, guys. So make sure to tune in. See ya. Take care.